Hello and welcome to the first Q&A on our Dodger refit. We had so many questions and so many comments about the first video on our refit that we felt that we really should try and address them in a separate video. So here we are.
Lots of questions.
Start with Patreon then. So Kevin Berry, this is for you, Jamie. Did you consider raising the end of the boom slightly to give more headroom? Perhaps not required or too awkward with in-mast reefing, or you didn't want to cut your lovely new sails? Could you increase the length of the boom to change the sheeting angle and allow more protection? And just throwing out some general conversation points there.
Well, I mean, raising the boom that's pretty involved. That's really quite involved, because remember we have in-mast furling, so we have a spindle inside an axle, which would mean have to cut that down. We'd have to take the whole thing apart. Too much hassle. Yes, don't want to cut the new sails. And as for lengthening the boom, don't forget we're a ketch rigged, so we've got the mizzen mast in the way. That boom is as far back as it can go, so really that whole moving around the rigging just isn't an option, I'm afraid.
Did that new sail slightly mean that we brought the boom up at the back anyway?
That's right. Yeah. So when we spoke to Phil about fitting our new sail, he said that with in-mast furling, the booms are generally raised at the back end. This just helps when you furl the sail away that it furls away properly. So yeah, so that it's raised, so we do actually get a little bit more room between the boom and the top of the Dodger. John Magle, our friend John. Hey, John.
Just a quick comment. Looking back on some of your older videos, I don't see a wind generator on Esper. Where you intend to cruise, you will find more wind than sun, perhaps. Maybe an investment for wind over more solar. Just a thought. It's a good thought.
It is. I mean, sort of kind of toyed with the idea of wind. I think the main problem for us is where do we mount it? You know, the back end of Esper is now getting more and more cluttered with solar panels and the davits and so on, and some people mount it on the mizzen. I don't think that's a particularly good idea because of vibrations, so it would have to be mounted on a pole at the back end, and they're expensive.
They are expensive. I still quite like the idea of it. It's not completely ruled out yet.
No, we will keep looking at it, but I think in terms of importance at the moment, it's somewhere down there on the list rather than up there.
Okay, so now the next one is Greg and Kathy Trevathan on SV Orinoco from Patreon. They just mentioned the removable aspect of what we're doing. We're very interested in this project, particularly as we have been discussing a removable hard Dodger for our ketch. Professor Michael O.Z., a regular commenter on YouTube, said, while removable is good, where does it go when you remove it? Maybe you should have done it in Japan, as they are masters of origami over there.
Yeah, good point. When we say removable, what we mean is that we can take it off if we need access to the engine, because access is through the cockpit. So it really is a semi-permanent installation, and so we just wanted to be able to take it off, and it wouldn't be with ease either. We'd have to probably use a crane, but the idea is that it can be unbolted and taken off. But I think really we have to say it's a semi-permanent fitting. Yeah,
because if we didn't do it this way, if we needed to remove the engine, you'd actually have to cut it right off again and start all over again. Yeah. So the next subject we did have a lot of people commenting on, and that was our solar panels. Wouldn't it, in a nutshell from Alan Haywood, wouldn't it be better to have 2 to 3 panels due to shadows and stuff like that? He wasn't the only one, and we had lots of suggestions. Gengenai, Van Lewis, Mark Gotham, whole load of people were asking us about this whole idea of putting panels on that great big roof.
Yeah, I think the reason why a lot of people picked up on this is because in that episode we had mentioned that we had one big panel. Now, I should put this in context. We actually bought this large panel, it's 315 watt panel, to go on the back of our davits. That's where it was supposed to go. I'm now worried a little about the windage that this is going to create with our current setup. So we were toying with the idea of maybe putting this on top of the hard Dodger. So that's where the single panel came from. But I have to agree with everyone who picked up on this. Really, if you're going to put solar panels on somewhere like a hard Dodger where there is lots of shadow,
pretty much all the time,
you need to break it down into smaller panels.
Yeah.
So if one is covered, one of the others may not be. So I completely get your points, and I have to agree. I don't think, I can almost safely say we will not be putting that single panel on the Dodger, and if we do put any on, it'll be lots of little ones.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, but thanks guys. It is, you know, it's something that we're always thinking about.
Yeah. Now this is the real biggie. This is the one that made us think twice.
I know what this is.
Water catchment, and so many of you made this point. Just a few of you: SV, Sintana, Robert Rudolph, Snake Pliskin, Nobody 46820, JB. Basically, as Snake says, add gutters for rain collection. What do you think, Jamie?
Yes, well, we toyed with this idea. We thought about it, and then we thought no, then we thought maybe, not sure, and then we kind of decided nah. Then we put out that video and you lot all said, well, how about a rain catcher? So then we started thinking, well, you know, the stage we're at currently, we're a couple of weeks ahead of what you're seeing. They're now starting to spray the high build on the Dodger. So the next stage was going to be properly painting it. So if we didn't make this decision now, that's it, it would be too late. So we stopped work on the Dodger, we called Ton back in, and we have, thanks to you guys, decided to put a rain catcher on. In fact, it was our friend Todd who came on, and he was the person who finally said, you really should put a rain catcher on. So we'd read all your comments, and then Todd came along one morning and said, nah, you have to do it, you really do it.
He's a seasoned cruiser, and he's been around the world, and he knows what he's talking about, and he's not the only one. Other cruisers have said it to us over the years, and so it was a bit mad that we didn't do it in the first place.
I think it was, yes.
Okay, so we've got a little bit more time. We'll run through as many questions as we can right now.
Okay.
In no particular order, from Sean R. Wilson. One question: besides just gawking at the designs of other boats you've come across, did you use any specific online resources, forums, to inspire your design thinking? Oh, so much gawking, I can't tell you. Gawking everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, we ploughed through a few forums, but nothing in particular. I think the thing with this kind of thing is that it's very customized. It is specific to our boat, so you can get lots of other ideas from other websites, but really it comes down to what is going to fit your cockpit.
Yeah, we just used everything we could. That's all very cheap, says Leo Sorbello, but boat builders start at around $85 plus tax per hour. Why are you using epoxy? Polyester would serve, and it's cheaper per kilo. Don't worry, your Dodger won't get osmosis if you use polyester, I assure you. Number of things there. Yeah, it is cheap here, which is why so many cruisers come to this part of the world to do this kind of work. Well,
correction, labour is cheap.
Sure, yeah.
Materials are not. Materials are going to cost the same, if not a little more, depending on what you're using. For example, the all-craft paint we're using, we have to import that, so that's more expensive. Why didn't we use polyester? Don't know, don't have an answer for that, to be honest. It's not something we really thought about.
No.
We're just used to using epoxy.
Sea Travel would like to know if we're planning on putting wire chases for our solar and lighting.
Yeah, so very good idea. Obviously we want to put in lights, maybe solar panels, I'm not sure. The way that the Dodger is going to work, we've got the big wide struts at the back end, but we're going to have stainless poles down either side, and this will be a perfect opportunity to run cables inside those and through a little hole in the coaming and to the chart table. So yep, we're going to be putting certainly some lights. I have a 5-metre strip of RGB lights with a remote control, so we can have our own little discos in the cockpit.
Yeah, but I get to choose where we put the glitter ball.
Okay.
Okay. Frantic Sailing Adventure says, good call on the hard Dodger. Will you be putting in handrails?
Yeah, good point. If you remember, the vertical struts at the back have a 4mm stainless plate inside, and so that will be the perfect place to mount some vertical handhelds at the back end of the Dodger. At the front end, we still need to put it in situ to look at the clearance between that and the boom. We may put some handles underneath on the front corner or on the top, but yep, definitely. We should just like to thank Jed, who very kindly offered to put together some CAD drawings for us. A little bit late now, obviously, for the hard Dodger, but if in future, if we require that service, we'll be knocking on your door. So thanks, Jed.
Thanks for that.
Finally, we should just give a big thumbs up once again to Ton and Tui. as you guys know, we know them really well, and as you saw in yesterday's video, we like to have a laugh with them, but they're so focused and very professional, and it's just great to have them around, isn't it? They're like the family, part of the family now.
And what was lovely is that so many of you recognised them. I love that. There's this one here. We are putting the band back together. It was like deja vu all over again. Seeing the refit crew was smile worthy, and that was from Sean Toomey. And then this one's very funny. Great to see part of the Hong Kong Fooey gang back together.
Yeah, and if you don't understand the Hong Kong Fooey reference, then go and have a look at our refit videos where you meet Ton and Tui's father, Pong Tong Tui.
Finally, did you know you were going to run into these guys in Krabi, or was that coincidence? Either way, they did a great job on the refit, and I can't wait to see their work on the Dodger. SV doing it right.
No, we didn't. We knew they were kind of in the area, but we didn't know that they were based in and around Krabi, and we didn't know that they'd just finished work on another project. So it was serendipity. Since we're here, I just want to say, just to make it clear, I want it noted that I have said, the final solution is not going to look particularly pretty, I don't think. I think Esper has beautiful lines without any kind of hard Dodger at all. And, you know, designing something to fit Esper's lines is going to be quite difficult. So we've said it before, this really is sort of function over form ultimately. But we're just trying the best that we can. So just, you know, when you see it finally, please don't be nasty about it. We've tried our best to make it look good. Thanks very much for your comments and your suggestions. If we get enough feedback, next time we'll do this again. Please do share, like, and what else?
Subscribe if you haven't already.
In the meantime, peace and fair winds. We're recording, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Gonna have to stop. Go.
Don't say go, just let me start.
Can you just shift in a little bit?
Not really without sitting on you and getting all sweaty.
Hold on, where are we going with this?
What's this
got to do with the hard Dodger?
Nothing.
Forget it.
Oh, okay.
Forget it.
There's some.
You're not supposed to tell them what he's doing, because...
Well, you already have.
It's a secret.
You've already told them. Might be able to do...
Yeah, cut that bit out anyway.
Okay. Just hope it works, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Got a numb bum now. Will that do? Stop.
Yep.